10% of software engineers are ghost engineers. These are the findings of a Stanford research project. And this seems huge, and it's crazy to think that 10% of software engineers just do nothing and just get paid six figures. It actually reinforces the idea that we should just fire more engineers and just reduce costs, because productivity won't really suffer and we're just gonna optimize. And this is very dangerous, and I personally think that studies like these with flawed assessment models, and I'm gonna tell you in a bit why I actually think it's flawed, they actually do more harm than good in the long term. And I know that it sounds great for a viral tweet or for a social media post, but it's simply reducing software engineers to a simple task or metric. We have data on the performance of more than 50,000 engineers from hundreds of companies. 9.5% of software engineers do virtually nothing. Ghost engineers 0.1xers. This powerful statement isn't really backed by the actual research paper, because it's enough to actually read a tweet and people can't really be bothered to dive deeper, especially when they don't really understand machine learning models and how they actually work, or the actual data that has been used, the features that were engineered, or how the data was labeled. Our model quantifies productivity by analyzing source code from private Git repos, simulating a panel of 10 experts evaluating each commit across multiple dimensions. And they show this nice picture that looks really nice, but it doesn't really tell much, especially on X, where you can't really be bothered to look at it properly. Here's the methodology from the report: data acquisition and commit selection. So they analyze the distribution of lines of code, or LOC, per commit in professional environments. A flawed metric in the first place. I mean, who cares how many commits or how many lines of code you actually write? Only managers that treat you like a keyboard monkey anyway, so they most probably use bins with ranges for the number of commits, and pretty much that's the distribution. Now, leaving this aside, right, they had 1.73 million commits from 50,935 contributors, but then they selected a sample of only 70 commits that actually matched the lines of code distribution, ensuring the representation of actual development behaviors. I mean, what actual behaviors? You only had ranges of the number of lines of code, and most probably just took equal samples within those ranges, and only 70 commits that were analyzed by 10 experts that evaluated them on some criteria, and then they just transformed into some features to actually feed the model. Therefore, their training set is extremely small, and if you apply that to a test set of millions of records, that's not really appropriate. Plus that a random forest models optimizes for bias instead of variance, so it generalizes quite a lot. Not that optimizing for variance would have been any better, especially with such a small data set, but their findings are extremely unreliable. With just this, I could just rest my case that the paper is low effort and that it's actually dangerous, because it actually affects the market perception at a time when actually software engineers are taking a beating anyway with all these layoffs. But let's continue to see how they actively try to quantify these findings into savings for companies. And this is an attempt to try and get more companies to send their data and participate so that they can finally be more accurate. And that's all good, but if your findings are inaccurate, don't make these bold claims and use terms like ghost engineers. I gotta say that this so-called study really annoyed me, and I'm making this video actually because I want to get your opinion on it as well, and I want to encourage you to actually read the paper, right? Because it's a shallow one. You just have 6 pages to read and you can easily just form your own opinion on it. We found that 14% of software engineers working remotely do almost no work, ghost engineers, compared to 9% in hybrid roles and 6% in the office. Again, they give companies some ammunition to try and get people back in the office, based only on 70 commits that were analyzed, and for Java as a programming language. On average, engineers working from the office perform better, but 5x engineers are more common remotely. This simply means that on average, people that go to the office write more lines of code. Not that they perform better, but putting a nice graph next to it will give this a lot more credit than what it actually means. And again, it gives ammunition to bad managers that just treat people like code monkeys. While this is a flawed way to measure productivity, it reveals inactivity. 58% make less than 3 commits per month. The other 42% make trivial changes like editing one line or character, pretending to work. How is editing a line of code trivial? How do you know? Many times it takes hours to figure out what can be actually optimized, and it can just take a simple method change or just deleting a line of code to fix it. It's insane that this guy actually said that editing a line of code without understanding the change can be pretending to work. Is he even a programmer? And after all of this nonsense, assume every company below has a 9.5% of its software engineers doing virtually nothing, in line with our research findings. Here's how much each could save annually by letting them go. $11 billion. This is crazy that with a flawed and low effort research paper you can make this claim. And also he's got almost 4 million views on this tweet. I bet you get so many people talking about this now, saying that software engineers are just lazy and can't be bothered. Please let me know what you think. Let me know down in the comments if you saw this and whether you think that this is accurate. Also check out getthatbadge.com if you're looking to get cloud certified and get a job as a cloud engineer. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you didn't, please let me know down in the comments what you think, and of course, I'll see you in the next one.